vale besar pate na nomu sole na nomu ngauna ni kua. Thank you so much for giving some time from your busy schedule. I know it's a busy time for you, especially with your work as a flight attendant for Air New Zealand, and also director for your dance academy and being a dad. Lots of things that you have to juggle. So on behalf of the Talanoa with Dr. T team, just want to say Vinaka vakalevu naita for giving your time for our Talanoa today. To kickstart our Talanoa, if it's okay for you to introduce yourself, sharing with us where you're from and your connections to our beautiful Viti.
Yes, Vinaka vakalevu, Dr. T and our family in Hawaii. Aloha kako, kia ora tātou, Bula Vinaka from cold Aotearoa at the moment. By way of introduction, Naitango Alipate Traill, Turangani Levuka Ovalau, Levuka Vakaviti, vasu Savusavu. Uchungoi Okaladi, New Zealand. Been here for an almost equal amount of time as growing up in Fiji now. So I live here in West Auckland, currently working for New Zealand, as you mentioned, also a director of Te Mana Performing Arts. I think for New Zealand, we are the only school of Fijian Meke, and as well as basic Voiceover Committee, as far as I know at the moment in New Zealand. We've been running for about 3.5 years now. And of course, with all these changes taking place, so many things happening all over the place, but good things for us to adapt and move towards.
And I know from our conversations and working together with you in Aotearoa, I know you've moved from Fiji and to other parts of the world. Would you be able to share your education journey and what actually took you out of Fiji to other parts of the world?
Yes, Vinaka, Dr. T. The journey began many moons ago, of course, with the first coup that happened in 1987, when I was just a boy of 10 years old. We moved to New Zealand at the end of that year. And of course, we were one of those families that left because of all the trouble that was happening in Fiji at that time. And so the journey began at the end of 87. We spent about 4 years in New Zealand non-stop. And then in the early 90s, we started to trickle back slowly to Fiji. I think Dad, of course, was the one who led the charge. I think with our fathers, it's you can take them away from the homeland, but their hearts will always be back in the homeland. And I think that's what took us back in 91. Only 2 of my family members remained in New Zealand. The rest of us moved back to Fiji. So I spent another 4 to 5 years there. I finished off at Stella Maris Primary School, my primary education. Then I moved on to the Fiji Latter-day Saints Technical College at that time. And spent about 3 years there. And then, of course, being the young person that I was, got bored again and wanted to come back to New Zealand. Still thought I was bored, but I think I was just distracted, really, to be honest. So moved back to New Zealand and spent 2 years at the St. Peter's College in Epsom, Auckland. And coming up on my 2 final senior years of high school, I felt the tug again to go back to Fiji. So there I was on the plane again, back to the motherland, where I spent my final 2 years of high school at the Fiji LDS College once again. So after that, I took a brief break of 1.5 years study leave until I eventually ended up at Brigham Young University in Laie on Oahu, where I studied a bachelor's in political science and Pacific history. And I guess, as they say, the rest was history after that. Met my beautiful wife, Tekura, who is of Cook Islands heritage, born and raised in New Zealand, but 100% Cook Islander. And we met as political science students as well in class. So I guess she was the distraction during class because I couldn't go to her.
Of course, she's a very, very beautiful wahine. And I know you have 3 beautiful children, hey, Pati?
Yes, 3 beautiful children, and number 4 due in September. So,
congratulations! Vinaka. Vinaka vakalevu Pate. And I know that women, we have positive impact on our upbringing. So you've got your beautiful wife Tekura, who's such a wonderful support for you, and I really want to highlight that because with the amazing work that you do in Auckland in particular, and with your travels, it takes a strong woman to look after the children and look after the household. So big Vinaka vakalevu to Tekura from all of us. And speaking of women, I remember talking to you, Pate, you mentioned about 2 ladies that had impact in your life. I remember there was one lady in Wanimbuka, and you also mentioned about your paternal grandmother from Moala. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Koe Vinaka, Dr. T. So my upbringing was strongly influenced by my mbumbu, who is from. So my mbumbu is actually my dad's mother. She passed away maybe 2 years before I was born. So I never actually met her, but it was her younger sister who came forth to our family, who kind of became my mbumbu, because all of my older siblings knew mbumbu Levu, as I call her who passed away. But of course I didn't have that opportunity, as she had passed on 2 years after I was born. So my kind of adopted mbumbu was her younger sister, also from Naroi Moala. She married in Wainimbuka, in Nangia, Wainimbuka. When she would come in from the village, I had nothing but good memories of. I would be fighting to have her come and stay with me in my room. So she'd come in for nisa odo ko na kana roro kanambele kantavioka. We on the bus sa tanggil to telefoni. Iyo, talakaningo. Look, so just look out for the taxi, because the taxi would pull up and we'd just look at and we'd see a hand waving. Sani mo paka. So we had to run down, pay the taxi. She'd hopped on the bus from Wanimbuka by herself and made her journey all the way into Suva, jump on a taxi, and she'd just be pulling up in the driveway. And we'd have to run out and pay for her taxi. And we knew she had come in because her famous words were always, Hesta, uchingo menakoro, badibana nante ni Suva, nadaba sa toka indelanteveli. So she had come in for her fix. She wanted to come in for her meat fix, and she'd be really skinny and slender when she come from the village. But once she spent a couple of weeks with us, we'd send her back. She knew when her limit was, because she had put on quite a bit of weight. She'd go back to the village, go back to eat the healthy food. And this went on for years, And so when she would come to our place in Suva, I'd always fight to have her come and bunk with me in my room. Little did I know, as time went by, she only spoke Fijian. My Fijian wasn't always that good, but because of that interaction, and she only spoke Fijian to me, I picked up the language. And this is where I realized that transfer of knowledge and history and inspiration, for the later half of my life. That time I was still immature, just a young man, fucking around looking for excitement everywhere. But I didn't realize she was instilling in me a proper foundation of what I would later on come back to in life and use to actually find stability in my life. So she's pretty much the one who instilled in me the knowledge and the inspiration to treasure that, that knowledge.
Absolutely. Wow, that's wonderful. Vinaka for sharing that story, because she would have been one of, as you mentioned, an inspiration to your journey, your academic journey, and also your interest in language and Meke. So just share with our audience what motivated you to start your Te Mana Performing Arts school in West Auckland. It's really, just wonderful to be watching all these beautiful kids, learning their mekes and even learning how to hold their iri. So can you share that with us, Kei Alipate?
Yes, Vinaka, Dr. T. I think the basic drive that led me to establish this was I saw the need in my own children as well as other New Zealand-born Fijian kids. Of course, we got together first with sports, with the Fiji tag rugby team here in Auckland. And just this conversation came up amongst parents. I'd been invited to several schools on a return from Hawaii, of course. I failed to mention at Brigham Young University, I managed to have an awesome experience at the Polynesian Cultural Center. So I was one of the dancers and tour guides there for many years, worked in the Fijian village, the Tahitian village, did the night shows and the canoe shows, had a hand at costume making. So this amazing place was actually the ground where I was able to take it up to the next level. And I think that with a lot of our people, we have all this knowledge, we have all this expertise, but how do we share it with the world? And I think this is an amazing platform. Why I really support what you're doing is it's showing our people how to be proud, how to harness that energy, that knowledge, and present it to the world. And I think this is what PCC did for me, gave me that opportunity to be able to experiment, to share certain things, to learn, to enhance how you present and how you come across to others. So with this whole experience, I guess I was made into a young, confident man in the whole process. Of course, being of mixed heritage, part European, part Fijian, often comes with its dilemmas of who am I, what is my identity, where do I belong, am I full Fijian or am I full white, or which side of the fence do I belong to? I mean, that's just confusing for a lot of kids nowadays who are, of course, of mixed heritage. And so this taught me, this whole process just, anchored me and got me to accept and be comfortable in who I am. And I guess this experience is what I wanted to provide as I saw the same needs starting to transpire among these kids in New Zealand. Hence, Te Mana Performing Arts was born out of, having the need to give these kids the experiences, not only my kids, but anybody else who's interested as well.
For taking the lead. And one thing I admire about you is your ability to take action, because we can sit under the tree somewhere and dream about what we want to do, but if we don't actually act on it and deliver these kind of programs, look at how many children and families you have impacted. And your family, I have to say, has set the bar for a lot of Fijians in Auckland, and maybe if some of them are listening in, to come and support the work that you do in West Auckland. And thanks to the Pacific Mamas in Waitakere, City Council for giving you that space, with Mariama and Jacinda. So amazing support. So would you like to also share some other projects? Because I know that you and I and Choana Monalangi were part of the PCAP project for the museum, Pacific Collections Access Project, for 2 years. That was amazing. Can you share other projects that you took part in or you're doing right now?
Koe Vinaka, Dr. T. So the projects that I've been involved with since our PCAP program, of course, when you left us to go to the beautiful shores of Hawaii. Our triangular chain of power was broken. No, but we still feel the aloha and the love thousands of miles across the sea. But we'll miss you, of course. And I have to say before I answer your question is I'm grateful to you and Kali as well for motivating me to take action, because like you mentioned earlier, yourself, myself and Choana, we took those steps to be independent, not to be held back by restrictions, whether it be political restrictions or religious or whatever. We just took that step for the sheer love of it, because we love what we're doing, And I have you and Choana as well, and I guess since Bumbu has passed, you two are kind of like my matriarchs, my inspiration for the work that I do. So I'm always grateful to the both of you, and I think that's what has pushed me as well to take this action, to move forward. So the other projects that I've been involved in, of course, last year, 2019, I got together with Choana and Luis Satora, who asked us to be a part of this Meke Aotearoa project. So between Choana and myself, Choana was the lead composer for the actual Meke lyrics. And I came in, I helped out a little bit with the lyrics, but my focus was more on the costuming and the actions and the tuning of the Meke. So 2 brand new Mekes were composed here on New Zealand soil for the first time. And the story of both Mekes, the boys' Meke was a Meke Wau, the girls' Meke was a Siasea. Talking specifically about Fijians in New Zealand and how we are, the need for us to hold on to our yavu, our foundation, to be able to handle all this change that's constantly coming up on us. So that Meke was presented at Fiji Day Festival last year. We had an awesome response, awesome turnout. A lot of families came out in support of the project, and we worked with mainly the students of Wesley College out in Pukekohe. But of course, there were other families here who came in, and it was just such an amazing experience, So hopefully one day we might be able to take that, make it to Fiji and present it as New Zealand Fijians. But that's one of the projects. The other projects, of course, is continuation of our Meke classes. And at the beginning of this year, we introduced, on the parents' request, I introduced basic work of Levuka Vakaviti. So introductory Fijian language, mainly for the parents and the children who wanted this. And I guess the interest came from the stimulation of Meke, what they were experiencing. And for me, that's a success in its own right, as if there's one thing that I want to leave with the kids at the end of the day is to create that natural interest and love for their own culture. And I think when they're curious and hungry enough to want to take the next step and learn the language, I think you've begun to go on that right path, So I think that's what we've been involved with. Then just quite recently we were approached by Pacific Dance New Zealand by director Sefa Enari to take part in a 10-week series on heritage arts. So this year, Pacific Dance has focused on heritage arts, realizing that from a lot of feedback that they've got from the community, that they wanted to do more of heritage art. So for our section, the Fiji section, we presented 2 Meke. This is the ACS Limbia Ivalu Meke. So of course I pay tribute to the beautiful girls of Andita Kombau School, and how the general aim of the school is to help a woman become a proper young lady, As we explained in the program, it's like our version of finishing school. The Europeans have theirs, well, we also have ours as well. And in our sessions, of course, the goal is to raise a proper young lady, a lady who respects herself, who knows her place, who respects her elders, that's the whole general goal of it all. Yeah, the message we were sharing. And of course, for the boys, we did a Meke wow as well, just telling stories of days of warfare in the old days. But the whole moral of the presentation for the boys was to instill in them confidence, to be strong like their warrior ancestors, to embrace your challenges head on, and to remember where they come from. And so this is part of the project that we presented with Pacific Dance, and everything is online. So hopefully the message will be shared with more of the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, we'll definitely, we've been watching from here, and we'll share your videos on our platform, so that, everyone around the world can, be part of the celebration in Aotearoa. Oh, Vinaka Pati. So, in terms of the amazing work you've been doing, like living in Fiji, studying in Hawaii, and living in Aotearoa, and all these projects that you are involved in, what are some of the challenges that you face, and how do you overcome them?
Naka, some of the challenges, I guess, is living in a setting like New Zealand is, I guess, time management. Yeah, as you would know from experience yourself, it's just juggling different hats, holding down a full-time job in aviation, coming home with us Pacific fathers. I would hope, not hope, but I know when we come home, we're not one of those fathers who kick the feet up on the chair and let the wife cook and clean. And hopefully the modern day Pacific man today comes home and knows that his duties continues in the home. So come home, it's still cooking, it's still cleaning, it's still helping out with the kids. So it's still a very busy lifestyle. And then on top of that, we have our Meke classes on Wednesday nights at Te Mana Performing-Arts. Because of my wife's heritage, I didn't want the vaka or the canoe to be flipped into one side. So just to keep international relations, I make sure the vaka is balanced. To keep also to Tahitian and Cook Island classes on Mondays and Fridays. So it's a very, in between that we have kids sports, and then we have all our other functions outside of home and the dance school and so forth. For me, that's one of the big challenges is balance. It's a balancing act, with the busy lifestyle that we have overseas. But for me, the one thing that has really helped me in the sense is because your intent is genuine and it's what you're passionate about, it's what you love to do, everything seems to work out. People usually ask me, how do you do it? How do you do all of this? How do you fit everything in? Even my work colleagues. That's the same answer I give them. I say, I think it's because what I'm doing is what I love. Everything seems to work out. It's just all here.
Passion. I think passion is what drives you, right? And like when you're doing these amazing projects, it's not like it's a job. It's actually, it's fun, right? You're having fun while teaching all this Meke and teaching the children the language. Well done, Pate. My other question is, yes, for anyone who's listening in, so I know some of our families and some of our youths looking at you and say, man, I want to be like Albert or Alipate. I want to be like him, traveling around the world and working for Air New Zealand. What would be some advice you would give them, Pate?
Isa, my advice to the young people is to, don't let anything hold you back. Sometimes we are our own stumbling block because we tell ourselves that we're not good enough or we can't do it, or we listen to others, and sadly sometimes it can be our own family members, our own close friends, that may pull us down or discourage us. We just have to keep rolling on. The only person that knows you best is yourself. And I think that coupled with faith in God and whatever faith that you hold dear to your heart, that's a combination that I think is unstoppable. So I think, for the most part, I see is I can be my own stumbling block most of the time, because I'm either telling myself, I'm opening myself up to negativity, and so forth. But there's so many great examples out there of successful people. Surround yourself with positivity. Surround yourself with people who lift and build you up. If somebody cuts you down or is negative, that's okay. Just let them go. Move along. Focus on positivity. Focus on things that build you and move you forward. Because whatever you do in life, wherever you go, there's always going to be people who pull you down. And so I think developing that thick skin early on in life will only see you through to be successful in whatever it is that you want to do. The sky is the limit. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever you love doing, there is opportunity galore out there. I mean, look at you. You're a living example right there as well. And I just think it needs to be celebrated. It needs to be shared, because I know there's many others who are on similar journeys as we have. I remember watching back in high school when I was in LDS college in Fiji. I remember watching you on TV, and I thought, for some reason, I was always attracted to your program. And when I heard you in Auckland, I was so excited. Oh, this is the lady who had the big eyes on TV.
And I remember you coming to visit me at the Creative New Zealand office.
I was so starstruck. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I used to watch her when I was in high school on her Talanoa programs on Fiji TV.
So there you go. We've come full circle. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes. And lastly, for anyone who's interested to learn the Voiceover Committee, and you've been teaching the Meke, what's your advice to these young ones or to the families? Particularly, you mentioned earlier, those of mixed heritage, and they may be shy or they're not sure who to contact. What's your advice for them, Pati?
Koya, Vinaka, Dr. So if the interest is there, do something about it. Taking baby steps to move forward. Immerse yourself. If you fully want to embrace a culture and you want it to stick to your soul, that it becomes a part of you, that when you think, you're thinking in Fijian and so forth, that's when you fully embrace it. But the requirement is that you must immerse yourself. Listen to the music, tune into the Fijian radio station. If you read the Bible, get a Bible in English, Bible in Fijian. You can do 10, 15 minutes a day, go through a chapter, read it in Fijian, read it in English, mark it out. You can sign up for language classes. I know I'm getting ready for the second half of the year where we'll start an introductory again, plus a level 2. Also, the PEC education system here in Auckland are offering classes online now, and I believe they're going online as well, which is more flexible. And I think they're going to open it up to the international community as well, not just New Zealand.
Oh, very
Something
nice.
I saw along those lines. Take some form of action, but you must immerse yourself, and take those little steps at home. So cute. One of our students, the daughter of our famous Shortland Street actress, Nicole Whippy, her daughter Pearl, after our first lot of classes before lockdown, went and got Post-its, sticky notes, and everything in the house was labeled from our classes. And Nicole's mother's family came and visited. They're like, what on earth is going on over here? Well, that's Pearl's Levuka Vakaviti classes. And everything from the door to the kitchen handles, the cupboards, the drawers, the plates, the cups. She took the initiative to label it all so that every day she gets up around the house, she can see, ngona mbilo, ngona ndroa, ngona katumba. And it sounds funny, but these are the little things you can do to. My approach to it is starting with the basic, practical, everyday living in the house. So what is the word for bed? What is the word for bathroom, toilet, so forth? The little things we take for granted. These are little things that help our first-time beginners. But yeah, that's it. Is just listen to the music, try to do some reading, sign up for classes. I know you offer stuff online as well. So there's options out there, but people have to take that first initiative to embrace it.
Thank you for that. So for those of you listening in, that's a wonderful advice from Alipate. Take the initiative, take that first step, and there's so much options out there for online classes or even the music. I really like the music and the reading of the Bible, because I know many of us Fijian families, we have Bibles in our homes, and some of our Bibles have gone digital as well. So that is really wonderful part for some of those practical stuff. And Bula Vinaka to Pearl, and congratulations to Nicole Whippy for being a wonderful mother, for taking Pearl to Alipate's classes, and that's a wonderful story that you've shared there, Pate. To end our Talanoa today, Pate, I don't want to end our Talanoa. This is just amazing. I know this is only part 1. There will be part 2 and part 3. Any other comments or any other empowering message, Pate, that you just want to share with everyone who are listening in that is relating to your temana, performing arts or language or anything that is in your heart right now?
Thank you. Vinaka, Dr. To emphasize with our listeners is you are going to experience opposition. They're going to go, oh, since when did you want to learn? If you start to listen to Fijian music, Seti, what you listening to? Those kind of comments, And you're always going to experience opposition in your journey. That's the time again when, as I shared earlier, we need to develop the thick skin. Don't worry about it. You just carry on. You know what you want. You know what you need. That's the part of life. You're always going to have people criticizing you, and sometimes it's your own family as well. Chichi, we were raised in the village. What you doing all that stuff for? Now, if I was ashamed of what I did, I would never have learned anything if I didn't embrace what Mbumbu was sharing with me. So now she's sitting on the floor weaving the mats. I'm just standing there staring. And then she used to look up at me, and she knew I was interested. But I was embarrassed to ask, because I knew it's not like I was wanting to replace women's work, but I just wanted to learn. I just wanted to, I didn't realize that the actual sitting down with her and learning to weave, there goes the transmission of knowledge. Joining them in their sphere. But if I was embarrassed, if I was mandua, then I would have missed that opportunity. So whenever there's any opportunity in front of you, don't feel embarrassed, don't feel ashamed. It's never too late. So I've been here for too long now. I'm disconnected from the island. Or I'm married to a non-Fijian. I'm married to so-and-so. I don't think, it's going to be any use for me. But, we can't deny who we are, because it's a living, breathing part of us. We have the blood, we have the DNA, and whether we like it or not, we'll always be linked to the Vanua, Our homeland is our homeland, and we can never change that, So don't be embarrassed. Don't let any obstacles or anybody else stop you from your journey. If that's what you want, get into it. There's a lot of help out there, resources. Contact me, we have here Dr. T online, so many resources out there. Let's do this journey together, so we can all be in this together.
That's very encouraging thought. And when you mentioned earlier on, you are a working father, and when you come home and Tekura is there with the children, and you really redefine the role of dads, really redefine the role as fathers. And I just reflected on Kali at home. That's exactly what he does. So even though he was a school teacher back in Auckland, when he comes home, he still come and helps us in the kitchen, or he sets the table, or he cuts the onions. So it's really nice to see the balance of the roles I Elomani Valley. And the mara wiki mai minatina ni rabibu ketalenga na tangane ko ngani kine be ke ni naturang beka ni warong ti kumai ni kuwa and don varita ki Vinaka varita ka alipate ni kuwa na nonda vibuke and Elomani Valley sanga walanga ni nona tabinga na ni dangwal mi vale erna wada tal tungala tinanda na daka na Elomani Valley na sasamaki na savai sulu na vakasanga na kay ngwal talamay na kay sanga itong talamay takami na mengo ti wako takar mengo takamengo sanga doon taman ni wada live Gomarakin na obe babi ni Vinaka pati ni dori ko ko tirto na ngone doon ngono sa dori ko nga kirto na ngone bang isa o klang ko entabu tumbek sa baka demo to te kura doon ka Vinaka ya doon ni Waitakere Vinaka. Thank you for that wonderful example that you've given for young fathers and young dads who are listening in. Maybe they're saying, oh, that's not the Fijian way, but we can revolutionize and change the way we look at our families and make our family work together and keep the waka balance. Eh, Pate?
Nango, this talk kila when you sharing that, do na kaya voto mai veao it's konsirango na kaya sanga minda bulida for us to learn how to, if we are to survive in this world, we must be a person of two worlds. E chiko non da kilaka Vakaviti, non da itoba Vakaviti, and the kilatu, we know what is required of us when we are in the vanua, in the village, in the Tumenkoro. But we have to also be savvy to survive in a white man's world. The system we live in was thrusted upon us hundreds of years ago. There's no use. I know there's a lot of issues going on now with this Black Lives Movement and people looking into removing things from the colonial past. I said, well, there's nothing. You can take away those physical things, but it's not going to change the past. Nakanga andaron the kaba, we can take that consciousness, embrace it with our kilaka Vakaviti, and be a person of two worlds. But we have to in order for the family to survive, na kaya bimbi na ngonikua na matavuvale. And with our varau vavanua, our family, our Fijian ways, this is one thing that we can use combined with our faith is to survive in this world. But na ngonikua, families are just tearing apart everywhere. Balatanataba ni sa kato na varau kasa to na wanga. The wanga is unbalanced. Yeah. So especially for us men, sometimes we are too proud. We need to humble ourselves and realize, God, these are changed times. These are modern days. We must adapt ourselves if we want our families to survive. And I'm grateful too for Numdo Linipale or Kali as well. Great example as well, amazing achievement with your academic achievements as well as running a family. A lot of times people forget that one of the main successes in life is running your family. That's the most important thing. And I think if we can balance that, it doesn't make us any less Fijian or disloyal to our non-tai tabi vavanua. If anything, a complete family units make a successful nation, and I think that's what we need.
Amen. Wow, sa din. I think this is something I want to encourage you to. I was thinking of writing, and I know I've been on your case for you to do your master's degree, and Kali just whispered to me just now that he actually wrote his master's thesis title "Living in Two Worlds."
Oh, lovely. Wow, awesome.
Yeah.
See?
And it's also been published, and Meke University in New Zealand is using his book as one of the readings for their students.
lovely. Look it up.
So what I can do is I can put up the link of his thesis online so that our young Fijians today can read it and understand the importance of living in two worlds and the importance of adapting. This is a new millennium. This is 2020. We can appreciate what the past has given to us, and as you said, embrace what we can learn from the past and then move forward. And let's use our culture to develop ourselves proactively, positively, for the benefit of our children.
Amen.
Yes, man, Vinaka Vakaviti, I really appreciate your time. Such a wonderful Talanoa, full of positivity, and I'm sure our audience will definitely agree with me for learning so much from you. And we really I just want to say thank you from the Talanoa with Dr. T team for the work that you do for the Te Mana Performing Arts, for your Voiceover Committee classes, and we always here celebrating and cheering you on despite the negativity. Neta, keep going because we are doing this for our children, and that's the main thing.
Yes, Vakalevu, Dr. T. Appreciate your time and all that you are doing as well.